Hi everyone, welcome to Living La Vita Loca podcast, a retro gaming podcast for some of your retro gaming needs. My name is Fazz, and I don't have Rich with me tonight. This is a special podcast, and we have just had it's a bit of a live dispatch really from being out at Arcade Club. I have two members of the wider Living La Vita Loca podcast community sat with me, two of my very good friends. Would you like to introduce yourselves? You've been on the podcast both before. Oh, they've both been very polite to each other.
I'm Aaron. I am Chris's friend. I've known Chris for many years now.
He means Fazz, because that's going to get confusing. But that's okay, that's fine, don't worry. Yeah. And carry on, sorry.
Well, that's it. I'm Chris's friend.
That's it.
Chris's friend.
Yeah, you were on. What podcast were you on?
We did something about beer.
We did a little bit about beer, a little bit about MetaQuest. We did a little bit about defense of the Earth. Do you remember the games that we talked about? Was it that shit, was it?
No, it was just a long time ago.
Yeah, I can't remember which game I did, but I remember Richard Earth Defense Force 2, I think, for the PS Vita, so, yeah.
I enjoyed it, and that explains why I've not been on for another 2 or 3 years.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And then, who else is here?
I'm the other Chris, or Birdie, however you want to call me, depending on what time of day it is. It's been 2 years almost exactly since last time I was on.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Slam Dunk 23.
Yeah, episode 12.
Episode 12,
We were pissed.
We'd had a few drinks. Not at the start of the podcast. We maybe had one at the Millennium Square, but we'd had more than one by the end of the evening with the rest of the podcast.
We kind of tried to have a bit of a general conversation around best games ever situation and stuff. Can you remember what you said?
I can't
remember what you said.
I remember the scene, but my actual words. I might have even brought up Alpha Protocol back then as well.
I can't remember
because it is one of my favourites I've been talking about today as well. I can't remember. No. I think for me, I play so many games. Like the best list is going to change month by month.
Well, funny, that's a bit like me in board games. Like people ask me what my favourite board game is, and I don't know because I've got best ones in different categories. Like we've got a lot. And so, it's kind of difficult to pick your favourite one, isn't it?
The one you most enjoy in the moment, whether it's an old one or a brand new one, or...
How's your Xbox Gamer score going? That was
I've just crossed, and I think I did bring this up last time 2 years ago.
And that's why it's interesting. I think mine's up to 19,000.
I was hammering Firefighter Simulator this week. That just came on Game Pass because it seemed quite an easy one to
get all the achievements.
So my gamer score is currently sat.
What's the equivalent of a platinum on Xbox? Is
1,000.
It's
generally 1,000 on the main game, and DLC can add further ones on for points. I'm currently 219,910, and this month alone, mainly for Game Pass games and a few other things that I've gone back to, like GTA recently, GTA 5. I've added a 4,155 so far this month.
Wow, that is insane. I don't understand, because I'm not doing nothing.
No.
I am playing my Game Pass games as much as anybody, and yet here we are. I guess I'm not doing Firefighter Simulator. That's probably
there's things like that. I think my Xbox Live account's 13, 15 years old now, if not longer.
Yeah.
So some of the games, it's a long-standing gamer score. I don't think I've got some friends online that have more than me. I don't know how, because I just barely skirt by trying to sort of live with mine. I think recently I've added sort of a lot this month from retro games and going back to games I played 2, 3, 4 years ago that I've got like 2 achievements that I didn't get for whatever reason. That was a multiplayer achievement I've gone back to sort of not milk the score, but sort of add a little bit more to the game score.
Just milk it. Do you know what I mean? You're at that point now where you're in the upper echelon. You need to you need to keep up to it now. You need to do all the sims, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You're well into power washing sim, weren't you?
I'm just on power wash. I play a minimum of 15 minutes of that a day.
Like a quota.
I know that because on the you get the reward points on the reward system, and if you play an Xbox Game Pass game 50 minutes every day and you do that all for 7 days in a week, you get about 500 points.
Right, okay.
And that's 10% of a £5 off gift card on the system.
You do know you could power wash in real life, and then something would get clean.
Get the real achievement.
I live in a flat in London, so there's not a lot of power wash opportunities for me.
Power wash the bricks.
I was going to say you can't power wash London, like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody can.
The good news is that
need some power washing.
There's spray paint simulators coming out the end of this month, which is very similar. And we'll probably take some of my time.
Grass growing or paint watching? Is that
Power Wash Simulator 2? I've been following the dev diary.
Right, okay. I need to know.
So
I don't understand how there can be a sequel to Power Wash Simulator.
Power Wash Simulator is. It's as simple as a game as you could possibly get. It's a turn your brain off game. That you can. I like to watch something while I'm also playing. I need lots of inputs. That's just the way my brain works. So I could watch an entire season of TV while playing Power Wash Simulator and be able to understand both at the same time.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's a turn the brain off type of game that I can just enjoy doing something, and it adds one of the inputs. It's not a game where I'm against other people online, so I want to really concentrate or anything like that. It's after a long day of work, I can go and power wash a Ferris wheel or whatever's the bonus. I also like the DLC on there. They've had the most recent one was Wallace and Gromit. There's been a Final Fantasy 7 one.
I didn't realise
SpongeBob, Shrek, Tomb Raider. And there'll be another one probably on there that I've forgotten.
Now the SpongeBob one I get because it's a sponge. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense. But I'm not sure I follow the Final Fantasy 7.
Sponges are for washing.
Yeah.
So he should be able to do it himself without the power wash.
You think he would be really fucked off that people are using power washes to sponges? Do you think there'd be some sort of beef there? Like, no, fair enough. So,
hey man, that's my job.
What was that?
I don't know. That's Sponge.
Is that SpongeBob?
Yeah.
All right,
So
fair
speaks,
enough.
A version of.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to him close enough.
No.
My children do, but yeah. I do you know what? I've never liked SpongeBob SquarePants. Never liked him. Never been. He's never been in my my stable of boys.
There's been a recent SpongeBob game on Game Pass.
Yes, Patrick Star,
which is literally Goat Simulator, open world, complete nonsense. I may have put a couple of hours into that to get a few game score on that to see what it was like. Not quite back to it.
Yeah, Oscar's played that, and it's really fucking annoying. He plays Wobbly Life. Now, Wobbly Life is the same.
What is Wobbly Life?
Wobbly Life is effectively a sim thing where you are this little wobbly person and you go around, and it's almost like Grand Theft Auto, but without the crime. Well, there's a few crimes in there, but like basically Grand Theft Auto for kids. But you're this little wobbly sort of sim person as well, and like you just have like grab modes and stuff.
Is that a Switch? Is that?
It's not on Switch yet, actually. It was PC, and it's like moddable, so obviously there's loads of mods for it. And it's on Xbox and PS5 as well. And do you know what? It's really fun. Like,
and
to sit
how
down
easy
and
the
play.
achievements on that one?
I would recommend.
I would
recommend the achievements.
Add to my wish list
immediately. Wobbly Life. So we're sat in the picturesque surroundings of Kirkstall Bridge pub owned by Kirkstall Brewery. It's about it's 11 o'clock at night, and it's still quite warm outside. We're recording this in the middle of May. Now, no one will actually ever know when this podcast will go out. It'll go out probably when one of us is on holiday, either me or Rich. So we're putting this in the bank. That could be
your shadow
August.
drop, like
could be exactly. Could be September. No one knows yet. Everyone really waits for a shadow drop for the LLVL podcast. But we have just been into the arcade club in Leeds and thought it would be a really good idea to have a little chat about the experience we just had in there.
And we wanted to sit with the smell of the river on our noses.
You've got a thing about the smell of the river.
I just like rivers.
The way of the road.
Water.
The smell of the river.
There's a peace that comes
There is a peace,
with water and rivers and sea.
I'm just a bit worried at the moment that there's been a bit of a drought and it's like the river smells like dead animal. Currently.
Yeah, it's all coming down. When it's rained, it comes down from the hills, past all the dead animals and whatever else is on the hills.
It smells like that right now. So
it's more of a cultured smell at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're enjoying that with your porter. How is your Kirkstall Brewery? What is it called? Bland black.
Might as well be called. It's all right. I mean, it
looks like an Irish coffee.
What is it? 5.5. That was the strongest beer on the board.
Remember, we're still on their land right now, so it's not just like it's in yay Kirkstall Brewery. I mean, to be fair, I do love them, so it's fine.
Like, it's nice. It's a nice beer. It's a nice smooth stout.
Nice smooth stout.
Yeah.
So, how was your experience at Arcade Club in Leeds tonight then? What was it? I mean, you've been to the Bury one before.
Yes, and
you've been to the Leeds one before it, and it's had a little bit of a renovation as well. So
many years ago, was it Nathan's Stag Do?
Yeah, your brother's Stag Do.
My brother's Stag Do went there. Different layout than the one that went to for the Stag Do. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I think
it used to be a carpet shop.
what I enjoy about it is, and similar to me going back to Power Wash Simulator every single day, is the games I will enjoy every time I would go to an arcade club is exactly the same games as I would every single time. That bring a little bit of nostalgia, bring the games I can play. I've tried some fighting games today, which I do not have the dexterity or skills for at all these days. It just plays completely differently controller-wise than what I've been doing for the past 10 years. Whereas things like Time Crisis and stuff like that, which is a little bit more nuanced with the controllers and a little bit different. Those type of ones are the ones I will enjoy at any arcade club, and it's a nice venue to be in, especially if it wasn't too busy tonight. You got a chance to go on a few things if you waited 5-10 minutes for a certain thing. Definitely recommend.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody doesn't know what Arcade Club is as the idea, then I've mentioned it plenty of times in the podcast before, but you pay, as an adult at the moment, £18 to get in, and it is all machines unlocked, free credits for everything, and there are, I'd say, upward nearly 1,000 probably, I'd say, in there, different types of machines.
There's a lot of machines.
Different things you can play, and they kind of like level it, so you have most of the more modern / I guess, what do I want to call them, really interactive, like Japanese style machines, peripheral stuff, perfect, on the bottom floor. Then you kind of get the older arcade machines on the middle floor, and the top floor used to have a little bit more PlayStation and VR, but they seem to have gutted that a little bit now, and that's more the Astro City sort of fighting Street Fighters, and then you get all the shmups and things up there as well, so, and then there's some gaming PCs too, so and they've got 3 of them in the north of the country. I believe it's Bury, Leeds and Blackpool, I think it is at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised going any further. I know NQ64, that's like a thing as well at the moment, so but these guys do an amazing job, and there's some really cool stuff in there. What did you think of your time tonight, Aaron? Because obviously it's changed a little bit from last time. There's a few different bits, like
it was great. I mean, it's just like fun. It's just so, like, them games are like really frustrating when you're putting money in and you're like, well, I'm dead now, because I'm not very good generally at games.
I was going to ask, like, so as somebody that doesn't play that many video games now at this point in your life, like, how you seem to be really enjoying yourself tonight, and like,
because I could just press continue
just didn't matter
multiple times very, very quickly.
And
there's all the, like, there was a lot of like physical games as well. There's not, it's not just about like having a controller in your hand, is it? Like, you've got the basketball one. It's fun because quite often you go and play those at, we go to the ticket arcades, but you only get like 30 seconds and then you're done. And tonight I was like, actually, I'll practice, and kept going and eventually got a bit better at it, realised how to play, and it's kind of nice to be able to practice them without
spending money.
And it feels very good value, like it was the price you paid to go in, and we're in there for what? How long were we actually in there?
It's about 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah.
So it's
next
really
to nothing for them. And I guess that kind of feeds into your board game style that you play home quite often, really, in terms of the different types of games and stuff, that is, in the more physical games and things that you might probably it'd be more intriguing, like you say, than nowadays, than maybe traditional video games.
Yeah. And I guess the thing about me is I always want lots of choice, lots of variation. Like, obviously at home I have loads and loads of board games to play, and like I'm not really the kind of person who like plays one thing over and over again. So if I just had one thing at home, I'd probably get bored. Well, it depends what it is, but sometimes I get quite bored of it, and then like I'd want something else, and in there it's like, whoa, what's next? And then you've got, and we spent quite a long time on the bottom floor, and then we still had like the second floor and the third floor to go.
But it was a bit weird, wasn't it? Because tonight it seemed quite quiet round there, really. I mean, the bottom floor did seem the busiest, as it always tends to be, but when you got up to the second and third floor tonight, we were getting up there a little bit later and stuff on a Saturday, but I was shocked at how quiet it was. But it was really nice to spend quite a lot of time on different things, which sometimes we've been to arcade before, and it's been a struggle to kind of get on some of the stuff you wanted to get on. But it was good to get around tonight.
And you got it's also quite good because you've got quite a few games where there's like multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
So like we were joining up, weren't we? We were joining back up together, and then one of us would go off and we'd play something else, and then we'd come back.
The first thing we did was you won the racing game. The first thing.
I know. Well, right.
Let's just call this right. Okay, Daytona USA. Okay, everybody. The cab. One of my favourite cabs, the cab that I've always claimed that I would love to have in my house, a 4-player Daytona, just if I was, infinitely rich.
Yeah.
And I got absolutely fucking hammered by Aaron, who
doesn't drive a car.
Doesn't drive a car.
And is usually absolutely awful at racing games. I don't know if I was just awful at racing. I don't know
Daytona.
if I was awful and you guys are just more awful tonight.
Oh, thank you.
or if
I was easing myself in. I was
barely sat here with like 220,000 gamer score points on Xbox, like as in, and I'm sat here with my gaming podcast with a hashtag Drive January as an actual hashtag, and
I don't think I've ever, literally, I cannot remember ever winning a racing game.
I've only just been playing Daytona like in January on the Dreamcast version, like as in I'm trained at Daytona currently, and I got whipped.
I had a little technique where I was just don't go on the brake.
Yeah.
Don't go on the brake at all. Just ease off the accelerator.
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact thing you
guys,
use in
it's
Daytona.
easy,
And I always back in the podcast in January, I said, I think I've learned Daytona now, and I've learned that what you need to do is not just drive all the way through the corners with the accelerator on. And what was I doing? I got the very first cabinet we go on, just like got my foot down, just like,
there were a couple of quite controversial collision moments, weren't there?
Yeah, it was a physical game as much as it was in the cabinet in the
it was
cab.
Bullshit. That's what it was.
Yeah, but it's
there was
video
a little
games.
green car sneaking up behind me, and I think we just had a little.
We touched.
Yeah, we did
touched
touch
tips.
For a while,
We touched tips.
You might want to change a few pieces of bodywork before the end of the race, but it was fine. We survived and we finished all. We've all finished.
But I'm just thinking as well then, so down the bottom floor, something I've not had a chance to play because there's usually someone on it, but we played very early on. It was like My finale, which is
that was
what
nice.
would you call that? Like a recognition game where you've kind of got to tap certain buttons round in a circular motion to be able to follow, like a rhythm game. And
like a Guitar Hero almost, but spokes of a bike wheel, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
That's probably as best as you can describe it. Yeah, pretty much. And look, the amazing thing about that was they had Sega game music on there, and lo and behold, the very first one we played was Daytona music. So it was really cool to be able to have more Daytona elsewhere in the arcade club. I
was still celebrating my win at that point.
Yeah. Is that why you didn't win that one? Is that why? Yeah, right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough. Yeah, but that was super awesome. So I definitely recommend that one. That was really fun. Are there any personal highlights for either of you guys that, looking down the list of games that we kind of all touched on together, or maybe had little different goes, like whether it was personal by yourself or playing with somebody else? I've got a couple in my mind. I know that one that we really all enjoyed quite towards the end was a bit of a new addition to the arcade club, but we can kind of come to that a little bit later. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Time Crisis 2 specifically. There was Time Crisis 1, 2 and 4 there today. I don't know whether it was an issue with the unit or anything, but 4 wasn't playing great. I don't know whether it just wasn't registering or there was an issue with it, but when I tried that, it just wasn't playing well. Time Crisis 1 is always going to be a classic, but I think Time Crisis 2 has the right amount of recoil on the gun.
Yeah.
And I remember it. I've not played that since probably the last time I was in Arcade Club, 7, 8, maybe 9 years ago. And I knew the first 6 stages like that.
Did you?
Straight away, knew what was coming. Really enjoyed it.
Where would you play that when we were younger, like Hollywood Bowl and Laser Quest and stuff, maybe?
I mean, I think it was on consoles for a while, like for very obviously different.
Yeah, it wasn't it? We had it on the console. I can't remember.
But as I mentioned to you when we were in there, it reminds me of the original Die Hard game, which had the trilogy of different games, one being a light gun, one being more of an action one, and 3 being 3. And that was one of my favourites back then. So Time Crisis will always hold like that moment, and it's an easy game to understand what to do. You can play a couple of rounds and you know where enemies are going to pop up from, and the fact that you've got the recoil on the gun. Those type of peripherals give you a little bit more feedback to what you're doing, and I enjoy that. So Time Crisis 2 in any variation, any arcade place would always be my go-to.
Honestly, with us nearing the age of 40 though, it's really fucking tiring.
It was rough.
It's so hard to hold the gun up and press the pedal. It's
because
like a workout. It's dying.
I'd played the Point Blank or whatever it's called before.
Yeah.
Which was
the Gun Bullet X one, which is like the newest version.
Yeah, it was effectively Point Blank.
Yeah, Point Blank. Yeah,
and
really good.
I was like really sore. My wrist was really sore, but the one thing that disappointed me about the Time Crisis today, I was like, I want my accuracy score, because I think I'd done a good job of not wasting. I was just like clinical today, and I was pleased with myself about that. But then there was no.
Oh, did you not get
no
one?
indication.
Oh, Time Crisis 1 gave me one, and I didn't want to see mine. It was mine was the opposite. Mine was like just 40% or something.
I died so many times.
When it comes to those games, like, I'm just like, right, okay, as many bullets as possible all over the screen. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the accuracy or anything. It's probably not the right way to play it, but much like my Daytona playing, if I'm going to be honest. Was there anything else from the bottom floor that you guys can remember that you think?
There was a few.
There's a little caterpillar coming up on it along that pub table. Little grub. Hello, mate.
Person of the podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking silkworm.
There was a few games that had more like movement in your seat area.
Yeah,
whether it was the helicopter one.
Enjoying yourself.
There was a few different ones around racing. Some were great, some weren't so much. But whether I know I'm playing them all horrendously and not doing well or getting any high scores, but they're more enjoyable because, again, similar to the recall, you're getting the feedback from the game a little bit as well. So that one, and then also the horror one.
We played Dark Escape 4D, which.
Definitely 4D.
Yeah. So basically, much like one of those cabs that you sit in with the curtains drawn, and you put some 3D glasses on, and the seat vibrates, and then air blows in your face, and
screams emanate from the cab.
They were, pretty much. And then also you kind of had like, you've got a slug coming towards your bit. What's going on out here? It's just like got absolute fucking nature critters going on, and yeah, it was. The worst part was almost that it was telling you what your heart rate was, like as you held onto the gun, like as you were panicked, and you were like thinking you were going in there cool as a cucumber, and actually you were terrified, and it was like insane, and your heart rate was really, really high, and it was quite terrifying.
It was jump scary.
It was jump scares
you
every 2 seconds.
You could almost feel like one knows something's going to happen in this corner, and then he just spun the camera out and something else jumped out at you. So yeah, again, you're getting the feedback from the system. It's that 4D sort of thing that you're getting a little bit more than just sitting doing nothing. So yeah.
It wasn't. Did you enjoy that or Luigi's Mansion more, which were both sitting cabs with gun peripherals that were? I think
the peripheral itself for Luigi's Mansion was awkward to hold.
Yeah,
I know it's meant to be a Hoover, but
I did wonder. I was like, what is that?
What are you two doing in there?
Why are they?
So it's more of a tennis grip than a gun grip, I would say, if that makes sense. It's more of a horizontal and vertical.
I was just looking at you, and I was like, you had a rectangle with a hole in the middle in your hand, and I was like, what?
I understand why. You generally Hoover when you're in a standing position or a moving position, so it's better in the hands. When you're sat down in the cab and you're having to sort of hold it against your body. I think if the peripheral was better on Luigi's Mansion, I would have enjoyed that more. The gameplay was good, it was nice to get the ghosts and the coins and things like that, and once we got into the groove of what you had to do with the light, it was good, but the peripheral kept just taking me away from enjoying it as much.
I felt that too.
I think if it was a more gun-based vacuum cleaner for that specifically, as weird as that sounds.
What about if they'd taken, the vacuum cleaner has the end, doesn't it? If they'd taken the end off, then it would have just been a tube.
Yeah, because also there's a few moments where you have to you grab the ghost using your vacuum, and then you move it across the screen.
Yeah.
And I was almost hitting your controller because it was like 6 inches wide. And there's not a lot of space in there. So I think if that was a better peripheral, that would easily be one of the best ones today. But the peripheral took it out for me a little bit. As much as the horror one was standard hold and shoot sort of thing, that was fine for what that game was, and we didn't need anything more from that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've just remembered I missed out on the one with the the quick draw one.
Oh, Quick and Crash. So
you played that.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with that this time. So basically, Quick and Crash, I've probably said the first few times I've been to Arcade Club is like my favourite cabinet. The problem being with this now, it feels really old, and when I say old, I mean like genuine. That cabinet that is in this specific Arcade Club, like the guns are starting to fall to pieces and stuff. So it's a bit one of those things where it's like it wasn't recognising the way that I thought it should be recognising. That is in this almost like the accuracy of the weapon wasn't anywhere near where it looked like it was meant to be. Now obviously that's very easy for me to say because I could just be shit at it, but I know from previous times I've been pretty okay after taking like some time to learn it, and this just didn't feel like it was doing what it should have been doing. So
and it's frustrating, isn't it, when the game's like when your game is not as when you're playing better, but actually it's been hampered by the tool.
I was really shocked, to be honest. shocked and appalled. But I felt like it was almost one of those things that I just thought I went back and kind of ruined the good memories of that game for me. It was like,
but the benefit of being at Arcade Club is you weren't spending money every time you were trying it.
Exactly,
which is why you could have spent an hour there trying to get a better score and try to get feel into it. But
I shot enough things tonight to make me happy. And one thing that almost replaced it in a way that it's not the same sort of game, but was, and you turned us on to this one, Aaron, Silent Scope. That is the sniper game. Because I've never really played that. I'd say on a console, and I used to have it on the console, but obviously playing Silent Scope 2 with a control in your hand is
not
just
the same,
no, but having an actual sniper rifle that it was really quite impressive how well it responded in terms of where you were aiming for. It felt like it was like, this is super highly accurate. You feel like you're shooting someone in the distance, to have the magnification as well. That was really clever. And I've seen it in there before, not really had a chance to play it. But I was really impressed with that. And all these things just make me want to get light guns back in my life somehow.
I enjoyed Silent Scope, however, I mistakenly clicked on the shooting range. And as it's a cabinet, you can't. It's not a console you can just quit out of. So I was stuck on the shooting range for a good few minutes, if not longer, just shooting at plastic targets, which is fine. I enjoyed it, but
and I was just utterly useless at it. I hadn't figured out whether I needed to get my eye out of the scope, because you have this like sniper rifle, don't you? And you're looking down the scope, and then you're trying to find new targets, but you can sort of swing about with your scope with your eye still down the scope and try and find another target, or you can get your eye out and look on the screen. And it was I found it quite hard to like switch between those things, which I suppose is the disadvantage really of being a sniper in real life as well.
Well, that's it though. And I genuinely felt like it gave you the most realistic experience I feel like it could do in a video game setting of. That was almost like I felt like a real experience. That I do have to lean out and look and have a little look, and you don't get that from playing a video game at home on a console. That's really cool. Speaking of guns and aiming down sights, one thing that we came across that one of the new additions to Arcade Club was called Shoot Away Pro. Does anyone want to care to explain what that was? That isn't it? It was all three of us all very impressed by it and had a fun.
It was a projection based cabinet that projected onto just a basic screen. It could have been a blank wall, but obviously it had a bit of a scene. And I think the first person to play it should be the person to talk, because you led the way at that difficulty level. You
well, you see, I was loitering behind the man.
I think you were forcefully loitering.
Lollygagging, some might say, because I'd seen it when we walked into that little separate room, and I was like, oh, whoa, this is a clay pigeon shooting,
nice.
Machine. And I thought, that looks great. And this guy was making it look so easy. He was sat on a chair. And I was like, right, well, I'm going to wait. And I was like, but maybe he just comes here and this is what he plays. Because he looked like he was really good. And I thought, maybe he just comes here and plays this for like 3 hours. Is he going to get off? So I did loiter kind of quite
Visibly.
And thankfully,
like in front of him, just like, trying to shoot the clay pigeon. Just like,
no, it's behind him.
Can I play now?
And he was a nice man, and he was like, he turned around, he's like, "You want to go now?"
that's your review of the nice man.
And I did.
That was really fun. It was really receptive. It didn't feel like it was cheating us. That when we put the difficulty level up, it felt difficult. The easiest way to describe that.
Well, I started on that level. I started on mid, didn't I? Apparently.
Yeah, around the mid level. Yeah.
These guys are telling me I started on the mid level.
Yeah. You did. We're telling you that for your own good.
I missed like the first 7 clays, didn't I, on that level?
Just getting your eye in.
And then got my eye in, and then it was fine. But then you guys then went on the easier level first.
I think it was a game that, when you did it wrong, it was all you almost, and you were trying to. And when you got used to where it was coming from and how to shoot and how to aim, it was rewarding very, very fast around that. Especially, it was only 15 ones to shoot every sort of round. We played maybe 2 rounds, 3 rounds each.
But it was like a real
it was nice and quick, wasn't
it? Pigeon shoot, wasn't it? Because you could see on the screen where they were coming from, and it beeped just before the clay came up. And and sometimes it came in different patterns and stuff, so it was felt quite realistic, even though you're very obviously playing a video game.
Yeah, but we got that sense of competition as well. It was fun. Like it was good.
It was one of the few games sort of there that was obviously quite large over the projector screen, but where even if you weren't playing, you were involved in what was going on. And it felt like you were doing it as a group, even though you were against each other, and it was good. That I really enjoyed that part of it.
A shitload cheaper than actual clay pigeon shooting, and also like you don't get the recoil from the shotgun,
Very true.
Destroying your shoulder after as well. That slug's coming after you again, Birdie. After your Summersby, so it's just like animals attracted to us right now. So I'm just trying to think as well, like going back to the point you were saying about moving cabinets. 2 things that I had to go on was Outrun, which again is another game that I've spent more time with at home now, and now going back to it, I didn't realise the cabinet moved as much as it does when it was playing arcade, because that really distracted me, because I was like, I know Outrun quite well now, or at least I know like the A track for people that know Outrun quite well, pretty well. But I just couldn't get the game under control when I was moving around in this car, and it was just like, and I was like, that's so funny, because it must be such a different experience for people to have, like people who've been in the arcades years ago and got so used to these experiences and will have controlled that and know how to do that, compared to people that will have played them, say on the Mega Drive at home, for example. It's just like, it's so weird to think that it's the exact same game on the exact same screen, because you're moving around like a bastard. It's just like
I think it's a generational change, because I saw some older gentlemen in there today playing some arcade machines who were absolutely smashing it, because they played that when they were younger, and they know how to play it perfectly. We obviously have played a certain generation of games, so we know how to play that. I think what I've noticed recently as well is the younger generation now, even those who play on PC, play on controller. So even a PC and a mouse and keyboard, I think in the next 5 to 10 years will not be the usual peripheral for anyone to play a PC game on. It's a PS controller, it's an Xbox controller. And if then in 10, 15 years those people go to an arcade club type venue and there's a keyboard and mouse, they'll be like, I don't know if I can get used to this. It's that sort of dip change in interacting with the same game, just in a different way through the generation.
Well, it's a bit like that with the fighting games, isn't it? Because I'm used to playing fighting games on a console. And I played Tekken 7, I think it was, with a joystick and some buttons. And I feel like I could have got used to it, actually. It wasn't.
Well, it's funny because when you get to like Evo, like the biggest sort of fighting competitions in the world and stuff, you can make, and I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before, you can make the decision about what you want to play with, but it has to be certain. It's like really tightly constrained, because obviously it has to be fair that everyone's playing across certain ways, but people can play using arcade controls and stuff. And it's it is interesting to see, because you won your first few fights on that pretty straightforward. It seems like that.
Easy mode.
But you were still doing it with the arcade controls.
I think, like, to be fair, with the buttons, sometimes with those fighting games, it's quite hard to learn the patterns with your thumbs. special moves and stuff. With a joystick, it was a bit like I could tap it and move it around quite easily. So
Yeah.
I feel like I could get used to it. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. What's his name? Kazuya, something like that.
Something that we both played, Aaron, that Max Storm as well, the one that we kind of moved around, like, is in the fighter jet version where you currently sit in. And that was like, again, the first time I found enough time and space to be able to sit there and not have somebody come in and kind of go, can I have a go, and things like that. So to actually spend 10-15 minutes on that, and that was like oppressive. Like, it was great. It was so much fun. But it was like, is that I don't know. Yeah, I was having a great time, but it's just like, is that a video game? I don't even know. It's just like an experience, like coming at you. That is like.
So you go inside this pod, don't you?
Yeah.
And then it's like the screen kind of surrounds you, and it's like you've got a little throttle there, and you've got a joystick to control your fighter plane.
Yeah.
I found it a bit weird because I was like, I didn't know whether I was in control of the fighter plane or not. It seemed to like follow a path.
Yeah,
but then you could.
Yeah, you weren't really. No, it was almost like you basically had almost like the screen size of control over the reticle, effectively.
But you could
you
at
could
some
decelerate
points
and
doing
accelerate,
it, you could actually turn, and it was the movement. There was movement in that, or was that just simulated?
Well, the seat didn't move, and I'm glad of that because I was already feeling like super,
queasy,
super ill after that. It was
so the screen's just moving and making you feel like you're moving. But I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed that one more than the Afterburner one, where the seat actually does move.
Well,
because on that one you can't really move the plane at all.
Apart from you're firing everywhere.
You can move the plane in a plane, but not in any other plane, and it's.
There's a slight aside around movements of cabinets. While I think you were on Outrun, and we were further down, I jumped into a random racer arcade thing, and I was drinking a bottle of Magners, which was very nice. Don't often do that these days. And I put it in what I thought was a safe place.
Oh no! I don't know what happened.
And then I was racing this car and just moved around. And all of a sudden it like stopped moving as much. I was like, oh, this is crap. Like, I can't do this. And then I got up and turned around, and I'd put the Magners bottle too close to the cab.
Yeah.
So it obviously tried to turn, and my Magners bottle got jammed underneath where I was sat, and I looked around and no one else saw, and I used majority of my strength to pull this Magners bottle out from underneath the cab, looked around, and then continued the rest of the evening.
Was it still full?
It was fine. It wasn't damaged. It wasn't cracked on the top. It was just well stuck.
Let's hope that game is still functional.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the BBC TV show 999? You know, like is in with what was it? Oh, what was it called? Not Michael Caine. I can't remember. Anyway, like an old British TV news correspondent dude, and it was like that felt like one of those stories. It was like. It used to be really solemn, and it'd be like, oh, the bottle rolled under the accelerator. He came off the side of the road
set on fire.
Set on fire, fell through some railings and speared himself on some railings.
And that's one thing that was nice to have, but was a little bit more difficult is going around with drinks.
Yeah.
You're trying to find the correct place to put your drink when, even on as I joked on the way in, the first thing, Daytona car cab, no drink holders. Where do you put your drink?
No one knew. No one knew you were going to have drinking.
On the ground seemed to be the best place in it for most of them, but then equally you're like, oh.
If someone knocks it, so I think although it was a premium space to get as many cabs in them, any type of things, there was possible. If there was a few standing tables between certain elements, it would help when you're having a drink, because I'm assuming they want you to spend the money and have a drink and to enjoy your time there. But it was just more difficult, especially in the rooms full of cabinets, to put a drink down. And
I think they used to have a couple more, but not that. But
it's a minor thing, and only like if you walk around with a bottle of Magners and things, you would really notice. Getting it stuck underneath your machine.
I would have loved to come around the corner, just finding you like an upturned cabinet like car, just like flipped over, just like
we survived. The Magners survived. We learned from it. From then on, I was very cautious about where I put my bottle of Magners. From
again,
then on.
also arcade club, stronger beers, please.
Stronger beers everywhere for you. But speaking of, while we're on that thought process about it as well, like when we talked about how good value it was just to get in and be able to spend 4.5-5 hours. I mean, you could be there all day if you want to and go on all the cabs at the weekend. The fact that the food and the drinks are so good value for money
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Like, you can't go anywhere else that is in town now, and like, so I think about and Pixel Bar and NQ64 and stuff, where like they do really good value for money in terms of the gaming and stuff, but I know that the drinks and food are a little bit more expensive in there, whereas Arcade Club certainly seems to be having a good idea of, right, we're not going to overcharge for everything, you've already paid to get
it was
in.
basically like, it felt like it was almost cost price for some of the beers.
Obviously I live in London, so I'm used to London prices, even for most bars and pubs and even small places. So what the small wine of my White Zinfandel, which was about a 6 out of 10, was probably
Put that on the spreadsheet, score spreadsheet. Arcade Club's White Zinfandel.
a 187ml, sorry, a 175 almost glass, which is a medium glass of wine, and it was what, $3.95 I think.
Yeah.
That's half the price it would be in London.
Say, is that what that was?
And when I used to run the bar at Lightroom as in a previous job, like cost price of that would be £2.10 generally, depending on what you've got. So like, it's not just the value of going in, it's the value of what you get and what you can buy there at the same time. Like you could spend 20 quid and spend a day there eating and drinking while playing the game. So it's less than £50 and you're getting an entire day's worth of food, drink and activity and enjoying yourself.
Which is really good.
Which you could get like.
Do you think that you could have as good a time at Arcade Club if you went by yourself than you would if you went with other people?
That is a good question. I naturally I like to be with other people, so I don't think I would. But in terms of an experience, and for somebody who can enjoy themselves a bit more on their own and doesn't always want to share that experience necessarily, I think it's probably one of the better places you could go.
I think that's a really good point.
I could have a good time there, but for me, I would always want to share something like that with somebody else.
Everything can be enjoyed on your own, whether it's multiplayer cabinet or anything like that. There could be Daytona, 4 people could be playing, and you all know them. There could be 3 completely random strangers, and you could still be playing on the same track. So I completely 100% agree with Aaron. It's better with friends and more people to get that interaction, to get that back and forth, to have a go, pass it on, compare scores, that type of stuff. But the amount they've got in there, and even if like you were meeting your friends at 4 o'clock and you went at 3 o'clock, went in early for an hour and played some stuff on your own, completely doable in a place like that.
No, I agree. I mean, I just remember when we were sat playing Darius Burst and we're just all like killing giant Martian fish or whatever during that. It's just like that's infinitely better with 2-3 other people sat there and you're just chatting away and just tapping buttons at the same time, not really thinking about it. But I was just interested because I thought, is it possible to do that by yourself? And you guys have put it really well there that actually, you could do, because you don't want people to be put off by the idea that it's like meant to be this massive social gathering. Actually, if you are like an absolute die-hard arcade person that wants to go and play one of these cabinets, and you can't find it anywhere else and stuff, that this can be the place to come. I think
it's a great mix of being social while not being social.
Yes.
Like if you went bowling, for example, one person is bowling in your lane and the other 8 people are sat there having a drink or just chatting. If you're doing VR in some places, one person's got the headset on, everyone else is waiting around. In a venue like this where you've got so much around you, we could all be playing 3 different machines within a metre of each other and all enjoying that, and we're enjoying it together in the same space. And that type of social interaction while doing your own things independently, you don't really get anywhere else. That's not something you get in a place that's not like Arcade Club.
Fair enough. I was just going to ask as well then, so it might be hard to do, but what was your favourite experience tonight then overall, whether it was by yourself or together? Like, what was the best 5 minutes or whatever that you kind of had, like, you think tonight maybe?
Time Crisis 2, I was going to follow up on that, I enjoyed that. And also, while YouTube on the top floor were playing whatever that game was on one of the cabs.
Battle Garega.
That's the one.
That was great.
It was really fun.
I played the first 6 levels of Sonic the Hedgehog on the original Master System. Playing it through. It's a Master System is something we had in 6th form.
You shouted over to me. You're like,
I may remember it and use the code to unlock all levels on the title screen. But yeah, that was you two were doing your thing. I was in the same room. I walked over. There was Need for Speed Underground, which is a brilliant game, but it's a game where you can't just like go in for one race. You have to spend some time. There was a Mario Kart from like I think it was a SNES era or Famicom. I think it was actually there. And then there was the Master System with Sonic on. And we had it in sixth form many years ago now, almost 20 years ago now. Where we had a scoreboard on the wall of who could time the jumps and who could complete that first level the fastest. And we got it down to like 21 seconds, something ridiculous like that, maybe even less. So yeah, that little moment of on my own while you were doing something else. Time Crisis 2 for me is a good game, and then just having that 10 minutes of back in sixth form in the common room 20 years ago, trying to hammer out Sonic the Hedgehog was really good. So
yeah, cool. What about you, Aaron?
I think the clay pigeon shooting for me. The social nature of it, and kind of watching, the fact we were all stood there and kind of watching the next person go, and kind of like cheering them on's a bit like strong, but what I mean. But like and then it was just fun because that moment when we selected a level for Chris, which we thought was just the same as everyone else's.
Was not
level.
Absolutely fucked me over big time.
Turned out
this is the medium level. Oh wait, okay.
Oh no.
I've got to be Olympic level.
We should explain. It was in Japanese or something, and we couldn't. We couldn't.
I don't think that really made.
I reckon another couple of hours, and we would have learned Japanese from that machine. Like we were figuring out what was the lower level, what to press at certain times.
All you got to do is shoot the clay pigeons. Do you know what I mean? That's like, you don't need to learn Japanese for that, I guess.
Reminds me a little bit of when I have you ever done that thing on one of your friends where you press the button on the cash machine?
Yeah.
Or is that?
Yeah. I haven't personally done it. I've witnessed it in a birthday party in a place called Penrith about 15 years ago.
Oh my god, yeah, that was ridiculous.
A taller friend of ours was taking some money out of a cash machine, and a smaller friend of ours pressed the £200 button.
Yeah, I did a £200 on my friend Nick. He was not best pleased. No. I'm not sure he had £200.
It's still at least disappeared. It's still there.
And was it fun? Did everybody? Yeah, exactly.
Was it the best time ever
for everyone else around?
Apart from the best.
Yes, it was. Yeah. No, I think probably like you said before, like Time Crisis for me, like as in just everyone lined up and doing different things. Even though we were all together and stuff, we all had our own little game going, and we could have easily joined up as well. And being around something that we've had sort of in our childhoods like that, like said about Hollywood Bowl and Laser Quest and stuff, that you kind of go back and, like you said, you remember the first levels just like on something that you would have rarely played that often, really. That isn't it, would have just been maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but it was so ingrained in your brain. So that was a really good feeling to have that, and everybody having their own experience but also right beside each other as well. That was really cool. But yeah, if you were, I guess, gonna say if there was anything else you could improve about Arcade Club, would you think there'd be anything when you've been in there tonight that you think you would add to it?
The tables for drinks.
Around,
I think that would massively help, especially with bottles of Magners. I think also, this is my operational manager head on from previous venues and places I've worked, is toilets all the way on the top floor mainly, and all the food and drink down on the bottom floor. Once people are in, you have to make a conscious effort to go back out and spend more of your money. So from a business point of view, if there was something else on the top floor, even if it was a pop-up bottle bar, something like that, something with some snacks or something, it would encourage whoever was in the area already to continue to stay in that area. And it means that we probably finished drinks quite early on and then just carried on until we were like, let's go get another one. Which probably reduced our drunkenness levels over the entire time, but then it would have helped more if there was more concession throughout the 3 floors than it was just where it was. That's a business operation manager Chris head on.
That makes sense.
And I would have liked, while I'm playing Sonic upstairs for 10 minutes, to just go and grab a bottle of beer and come back.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, they could do a better job with the bar thing and stuff. Anything for you, Aaron, at all?
Not really that I can think of off the top of my head. No, apart from the a wider selection of beers. But that that's just me. That's very individual to me, I think.
So let's do this in the old-fashioned Living La Vita Loco podcast style. Give it a score out of 10. on your experience that you've had tonight and previous experiences, maybe kind of feed into a little bit, but what would you give Arcade Club as an experience?
I'm going to go with an 8.
An 8, okay.
If I think it would have been nice if the VR was still up on the top floor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
VR's not
was-
working.
As
Not
much as
right.
it's nice
was
to
it,
get
yeah.
all the retro stuff and go back through that stuff, I don't have VR at home. It's something I would like to do more often.
Yeah, and the- yeah.
And when we were at the Stag Do in Manchester, that was something that was on them. We did quite a bit on that, Beat Saber and things like that. So it would have been nice if that top floor wasn't just, and that's a personal thing, fighting games which I'm not really good at and don't spend a lot of time with. And then there was PCs and things in the Master System, but if that VR side of things, it would have bumped up to
I don't know why it
8.5,
wasn't
9
set up
for me.
anymore. I don't know. They must have made an active decision to not have that there anymore. And like you said, that it does miss that. I think it was good because again, that was something else that everyone, just like with the clay pigeon shooting, everyone gathered round. Even
Yeah,
though you
it's
watch
that type of
someone
social activity,
casting
yeah.
on a screen that you're like, oh, this is cool. That person's really enjoying the lightsaber thing, for example. So yeah, that was a bit of a miss.
We
But,
said
yeah.
about having another Guitar Hero, didn't we? Because
Yes.
that was like
Yeah.
quite, it's
You walk in and
Running.
straight away, it's the very first thing you walk into. And
I think
it's
also
always
the
got somebody on
location
it.
of it. I get Guitar Hero similar to clay pigeon shooting. I want
Yeah,
the VR.
you want a crowd around
You want a
it.
crowd around it,
Yeah,
and you want to
yeah,
watch people do it.
Yeah, yeah.
The position right
Yeah.
next to the door as you go in, you cannot do that without blocking
Yeah.
doors and everything. If that was more central to the space in the zone, where even if you're not playing because there was only 2 guitars on it, you could watch someone play, and it's that social, it's that music, it's that side of things which you, in its current location, you can't really do.
Yeah. What about you, Aaron? Out of 10, arbitrary score. What do you think?
I think I'd go 8 as well.
Yeah.
Like it, I can imagine there being things I might enjoy more,
Yeah.
but
Well, you've been
great.
to, so tell us a little bit about Sixes in Headingley. That's a sort of similar that's a different experience.
Yeah,
sorry,
that
but
was
like,
good fun.
But
So-
it's like what is that?
The-
New-
So
cricket bar.
Sixes is a cricket bar.
I know the owner of the franchises.
They've
oh,
got
really?
Yeah.
They've got about 3 nets in there, and it's really cool. So you pay obviously to play for an hour or whatever it is, but you can get food and drinks there, and
How does that compare value-wise to Arcade Club?
I think it was more expensive.
Yeah, right.
I can't remember how much it was, but it felt more.
With Sixes, it's something like Put Shack and stuff, which is a bit more branded now, and it's in the way you've got the Put Shack in London that I've been to a few times. It's got like 4 different courses, which is really nice. But you've got the bar in the middle, and it's almost like, for those type of places, you pay to rent the space to use, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you pay for the access to everything, and that's that different level of like, if you're with really crap mates and you're in Sixes and everyone wasn't having a good time, that's it. You already paid to be in that space.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean,
I need to close this garden bit now.
oh look, we're getting kicked off. Look, that's
Yeah,
fine.
no problem.
Cheers. That's a good end for a podcast, then, isn't it? So,
You haven't given your score out of 10.
yeah, I'm going to say a 9, and it's based on the idea of it being like the sort of value situation.
Yeah.
Like I said, the reason that's about that Sixes question is because just like, I just don't think that for the amount of money that you pay and also what they offer in there, you can get much better elsewhere for like a night out now.
No, in terms of value for money.
Do you know what I mean? You can
certainly
spend
not.
30 quid, have some food, get in, have a couple of drinks, and enjoy some times with friends, and you could do that for like 5 hours. So yeah, I went back thinking, I haven't been to Arcade Club for a little while. Is it still going to be as good? And actually, it was probably the best I've enjoyed it tonight out of any other nights I've been
really?
there before.
Yeah.
So
Well, they have expanded it a bit as well, haven't they? So
Yeah.
that's
So long live Arcade Club. But thank you both for joining me on
Pleasure.
this sort of
pleasure, mate.
holiday podcast, and like I say, it'll go out at some point in the year. So, but yeah, not on a cold May night when we're sat in Kirksall Brewery in the pub.
and
So.
thanks for Kirksall Bridge Inn for hosting us.
Yeah,
with
beautiful
that.
venue as always. Next to the river, next to the bridge.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Cheers, bye.